We could.
Interrupt.
Maybe I'll.
We interrupt the beginning of this Chatting Average episode with some breaking news. Coming at us from Anthony DiComo of MLB.com, we have some Mets breaking news. Newest New York Met reliever Richard Lovelady has requested that the media refer to him going forward by his nickname. He is no longer Richard Lovelady, he is now Dicky Lovelady. Gentlemen, your thoughts immediately.
No way. No way.
I swear to God, I'll put it in the Discord right now. I will.
You know what it
Putting it
really
in the Twitter
makes.
group chat.
You know what it really makes me think about? I am fascinated to hear what Gary, Keith, and Ron have to say about this. Hearing Keith Hernandez announce Dicky Lovelady coming into the game.
Welcome back to the Chatting Average. We've obviously got a lot going on here that's very important. We're going to start with whatever that is.
Yeah.
Listen, Richard Lovelady is one of the best names in modern baseball history. And
Braves legend.
we've had players that have kind of fallen into the same vein before. You know, Rich Hill comes to mind with the nickname Dick Mountain. This is the first time that a player has ever fully embraced this. And I think that's pretty good. Like, I think that's kind of cool.
I think it's just, at this point, he knows his lane. Like, he knows
When do you think
it's
he
going
got
to happen.
Because just hear me out. I think it was when he was like 8 years old, and it was just like that one little league coach that like probably shouldn't be the little league coach.
Yeah.
Either that, or it was a result of high school bullpen chatter.
Oh,
It's
it's
one of the two.
Could be summer ball. Could have been summer ball.
It could have been summer. A lot happens in summer ball. I am well aware.
I doubt he got that far in his career before he picked that nickname up, but I think summer ball is probably where he first embraced it.
But like, I've seen him play. I've seen him pitch before. He pitched for the Braves at one point. It's like I've heard him as Richard Lovelady the entire time, and everyone else on Twitter kind of extrapolated the nickname out. So like, I want like there's an outside chance here that he just saw it on Twitter and was like, why not? At this point, why not?
John, do you know where he went to college?
Where Dicky Lovelady went to college? Probably not BYU.
Nope.
Where?
Kennesaw State.
Oh, hooty hoo, baby. Go Owls. Let's go. Let's
Hoo.
go. Hooty hoo, baby.
Listen,
All
we've
right.
had players in the past like change their name mid-career. I think the obvious ones that jump out is Giancarlo Stanton no longer going by Mike, and you have, you know, BJ Upton going to Melvin Upton Jr. and then going back to BJ Upton. Like, things like this happen. D. Strange Gordon, as we mentioned a couple podcasts ago. This one's fun.
Hines.
D. Normal Gordon.
Get into the show.
All right. I have one thing at the top of the show that we should probably talk about, or it can just be used as extra information when we get to the Seattle Mariners series. Up to anybody here. But Cal Raleigh is having probably the best season as a catcher ever.
Yeah.
And also followed up by probably the best season as a switch hitter ever.
Correct.
Let's just talk about it now. At this point, we've already kind of hooked him.
Over the weekend, he passed Johnny Bench for the most home runs by a primary catcher before the All-Star break. Johnny Bench's record was 28. Cal Raleigh, after the weekend, has 31 home runs. He also passed Mantle, J. Ram, and Lance Berkman for most home runs by a switch hitter before the All-Star break. That was 30. He sits in third in Mariners history for home runs before the All-Star break. In 1994, Griffey had 33, and in 98, he had 35. He has 20 games until the All-Star break to get to 39, which Bonds hit in 2001. That's the season he had 73 home runs. And on June 22nd, which was yesterday for the year 2025, in 1998, McGuire had 33, and Sosa had 30.
Cal Raleigh is
Oh,
20.
and he's catching every day.
Yeah, he's also, by the way, he's not just catching. He's a plus defensive catcher. I think that's getting lost in the shuffle a lot. Like he
Yeah.
is a very good defensive catcher. And the question that I want to pose to you, gentlemen, Cal Raleigh is 28 years old. If you were the GM of a Major League Baseball team and you got to pick any player in the league to start a team with, how many people would you take in front of Cal Raleigh? Because for me, that number's probably less than 10.
It is less than 5.
It's probably less than 5.
Because right now, one of the first like 2 that jumped out at me were Bobby Wood Jr. and Paul Skeens as just young, controllable, known superstars. I'd
You
say
can put Judge on that list as well.
Judge
Yeah.
as well. But I think
Otani's
he's
on my
just
list just because he pulls in money.
yeah, Otani as well.
Yeah.
But like all of those are like known factors. You know what Bobby Witt provides to you. He's a 5-tool player. You know what what Judge provides you. He's probably a 4-tool player. He's a pretty good fielder. But not the craziest. You know what Otani has many so much ink has been spilled over what Otani does for a franchise. Skeens obviously is the most live arm in the league. But the effect of a sure-handed defensive catcher
It can't be understood.
it can't be understated. The pitching staff, your entire pitching staff benefits from having a good catcher. Every single person who throws a pitch is a better pitcher because of Cal Raleigh. I guarantee you. Not to mention, you have a catcher, and catcher historically has been a position that hits lower in the lineup just because they're either not hitting very much or they're a big swing and miss guy. He has his career highs in every single part of his slash line by a wide margin. He's at 276 average. His next highest was 232, 383 on base. His next highest was 312, 659 slug. The next highest one starts with a 4. Like he is a complete offensive catcher. He's a complete defensive Gold Glove catcher. You know he commands the game because he gets glowing reviews from some of the game's best pitchers. This is the best starting pitching staff 1 through 5 at their healthiest, I think, in the league. And that's something that the Mariners are known for. And when you have Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, Emerson Hancock, Bryce Miller, all coming out here and saying, Luis Castillo, all coming out here and saying that droves about this guy. What else do you have to say that he isn't already proving?
And it's not like, obviously this is a huge offensive breakout year for Cal Raleigh, and that can't be, swept under the rug, right? He's never had an offensive performance right now. He's OPSing 200. He is twice as valuable as the league average hitter, which is nuts. And his career best before this season was 119, or excuse me, it was 122 in his first full season, which is good. Like, don't get me wrong, he's got MVP votes each of the last 2 years. He was, a above average hitter with a really good glove, and now he is one of the best hitters in the league with a really good glove. Like, that is such a valuable part of this Seattle team. He's been, for my money, the story of the first half.
Yeah, I don't know what else. I would take half of his production at the catcher position and be happy.
100%. 100%.
I would take a 225 average and a straight up 300 OBP and 15 home runs from a catcher and be like, hey, I don't care what we're paying that guy. He's catching and he's doing well. Like,
right.
It is insane. And the nice thing is, like, so I have him in fantasy, and like, I'm not trying to say like, oh, I knew this was going to work, right? But like, it's so funny. Every day I expect to get a notification that Cal Raleigh has homered. Like, every time it pops up, I'm like, dude, day ends in Y. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. He's played. Let me get to it. He's played 75 games already.
And he's made what, like 10,
50,
maybe like
57 starts at catcher, 17 starts at DH. He has 2 errors on the season. That's it.
and
That's
like
it.
Yeah.
this is it's it's a shame that Cal Raleigh is doing this right now, because Aaron Judge was also, for a large portion of this spring, absolutely tearing the cover off the ball, and it is going to, and it has already kind of, pulled some national media attention away from him. Not enough to where we missed this, but like
Correct.
this is by no means a clear favorite race.
Oh no,
This
it's going to suck at the end of the year when Judge wins his second straight MVP. Like
Correct.
Judge is hitting 367 with a 468 OBP right now.
right.
In the same amount of games.
Yeah,
He has
he's
105 hits already. Like,
yeah.
And it's also just because it's super hard, and has been and will continue to be, to quantify the catcher position, to quantify the effect on the game. As annoying as it is to use him as an example, there's a reason Martin Maldonado is still in the game.
Correct.
And we don't really have a good tangible reason for it. He's not a good hitter. He's not. He's probably one of the worst hitters in the past 10 years. But like,
the main example is Jeff Mathis, who had like a
right.
15-year MLB career being one of the worst hitters in baseball history. It's like, even if we as fans don't know how to quantify how important a good defensive catcher is, like clearly MLB franchises value that a lot more, I think, than maybe the national media understands. And you see a lot of guys. Austin Hedges is another great example. Austin Barnes, who is currently out of a job, but played for a lot longer than people expected him to on a Dodgers team that really did not have room for somebody hitting that poorly.
James McCann just got brought in by the Diamondbacks.
Exactly. Like, if you can play some really good defense, you're going to stick around at that catcher position.
that is former All-Star James McCann, by the way, to you, John.
Dude, he's been playing for the Gwinnett Stripers this whole time. If you think I haven't put respect on James McCann, you got another thing coming, buddy.
Okay, just want to make sure. That is
Come on now.
Former All-Star.
Backstop tandem with Sandy Leone.
Dude. Double All-Star backstop tandem between him and Yasmani Grandal.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Shout
yeah.
out the 2021 White Sox.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
What the year that Yasmani Grandal decided, basically, like, I'm just going to, like, never, like, I'm just, a walk. What's a walk?
What?
Now is a good time, I think, that we should check in on the home run race, because Cal Raleigh, as we mentioned, is leading Major League Baseball in home runs. He's got 31 on the season. Behind him, second, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, third. None of this is particularly unexpected, but there are some interesting names rounding out the top 10, including number 4 on the list, Eugenio Suarez.
I love Eugenio Suarez. This guy is so... It's baffling to me that every year we forget that he does this, and he continues to do it. Like, this is his game. He is not a great defensive third baseman.
See, I think we talked about it 5, maybe 6 episodes ago. We were like, yeah, you know, Eugenio Suarez has got like 13. Like, it was at the beginning of the season. He's like, yeah, he's got like 14 hits right now. 13 of them are home runs. It was like,
right. Like, it's we keep getting surprised by it, and at this point, the joke is like kind of on us. Eugenio Suarez, dare I say it, if he has a couple more years of this, like, people are gonna start, like, there's gonna be like a really annoying conversation in Cooperstown. A really annoying conversation. I don't want to say he will or won't, but when his name gets on that ballot, there will be so many think pieces about what his value is.
He just recently passed 300 career home runs, didn't he?
He's got 301. He's 2 RBIs off of 900. He's 130 hits off of 1,500.
He's also only 33
years into his and only 10 years into his career.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like
the universe where he signs with like I don't know, for example, the Rockies, and plays at Coors Field for 5, 10 years and just only swats home runs just to
And
stat pad those counting stats, there's going
and
to be a
that's
case, man.
and the good thing is this is a player built perfectly for the universal DH. If he gets pushed out of a third base job by someone who's like a okay fielder or better, like Colorado for example. If Ryan McMahon somehow still, because the Monforts just want to hoard him, like stays in Colorado, that's your DH. Your DH is Eugenio Suarez. He plays every day, and whoever is the skipper over there, probably someone who's already been in the organization for 30 years, is going to, you know, is just going to pencil hit, like, he can write Eugenio Suarez's name in Sharpie. It doesn't matter. He will be there. And I think this is the perfect thing to happen because the Baseball Writers Association of America deserves to have to make a really, really tough decision. And I want them to be ridiculed if they make the wrong one because there's a lot going on up there. There's a lot going on up there. Many are saying
Rounding out the rest of the top 10, we have Kyle Schwarber at number 5. Number 6, another story of the year so far, Pete Crow Armstrong, 21 home runs already on the season. James Wood, number 6. Corbin Carroll right behind him. He's tied with Seiya Suzuki, 20 home runs apiece for them. And then rounding out the top 10, we have a tie for 10th place between Junior Caminero and Tyler Ward, both of which have 19 bombs on the year. What sticks out to you guys other than the obvious in Suarez and in Cal Raleigh?
James Wood. James Wood sticks out to me. They got another Juan Soto for Juan Soto. Is what I've been seeing a lot on Twitter. A 934 OPS and 294 at bats, 21 home runs, a 279 average, 9 stolen bases. Playing a very solid left field because he's really a center fielder playing left field because you've got a center fielder playing center field and a center fielder playing right field. That's kind of like Washington. And the thing is, the Nationals are still bad. All the players they got for Juan Soto are good. Mackenzie Gore, C.J. Abrams, James Wood, and no one else on the team is contributing at all besides like Kyle Finnegan. I think like one of their relievers is actually performing decently well, and the rest of the team is bad. But like they're still a few years away, and I have a hard time shaking the feeling that I should be excited about this team in a few years because of players like James Wood, who is just going to blossom, and he has control, and he can be, at best, a franchise cornerstone in Washington. At worst, some other team's going to be really happy with him.
Right.
Correct. We'll get into this a little bit later as we get into our actual discussion of what happened this past week in baseball and how teams shake up or whatever. But it is baffling to me that everything that needed to go right for the Nationals has gone right to this point in the season, and they are still just a terrible, terrible team.
Yeah. They're still that like 2 years away from being good thing.
Yeah. Might need a new general manager between now and then. Shall we get into the week that was Major League Baseball?
What shall?
We could get into it.
We don't have to. We could just keep talking about Dicky Lovelady if you guys want to.
It's really funny.
It reminds me of that stupid tweet about. Can I say this? I don't think I'm going to say this. Never mind. You know the one I'm talking about. You should. I hope you know the one I'm talking about.
No.
I'll let me find it and I'll send it to you guys. But anyway. I don't think I should say this on the podcast.
Anyway,
who's doing that?
As we're talking about that, or as we're talking about the home run race, I look over at my phone at one point and I have a Twitter notification from somebody's account that I follow who's a Braves fan. It's just Dicky Lovelady. And I'm like, oh, crazy! We were just talking about it because it's right now. Like,
yeah.
All right. Well, the American League will go first today because the White Sox beat the Toronto Blue Jays 7-1 win in Game 1 for the Sox. Benintendi with a home run. Luis Robert Jr. with a 2-run shot. And Rojas has 2 RBIs also on the day. Flip it around on the next day, 7-1 win for the Blue Jays in Game 2. Bichette homers, Vladdy homers, and Schneider has 3 RBIs. 4-2 win, though, on Sunday on getaway day for the White Sox. Vargas, 2 RBIs. Robert, an RBI. Adrian Hauser continues to pitch well for the Sox. 6.1 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts. Detroit and Tampa Bay, a 14-8 win for the Rays in Game 1. Yandy Diaz homers twice. Thais has... It's just Thais. I don't even know. Why does he have 4 RBIs? Walls and Meisner each have 2 RBIs on the day as well. Game 2, an 8-3 win for the Rays. Jansen, Caminero, and Morel each homer. 9-3 in Game 3 as the Tigers steal 1 game. Wensiel Perez has a 2-run shot, and Parker Meadows has a 3-run home run. Baltimore and the Yankees. The Yankees lose Game 1. 5-3 loss for the Yankees in Game 1. Ramon Urias has a homer, and Gary Sanchez has 2 RBIs. 9-0 win for the Yankees in Game 2. Grisham with a home run, Escara with a home run, Rice with the home run, Volpe with the home run. 4-2 win in Game 3 for the Yankees. Chisholm has 2 RBIs, LeMahieu has an RBI, and Will Warren goes 6.1 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts. Houston and the Angels for a 3-game set, a 11th inning finish in Game 1 with Houston coming out on top 3-2. Pena with a home run and Paredes as well. Top of the 10th, a wild pitch scores Mauricio Dubon. A Game 2 win for the Angels, 9-1. Rengifo has a 2-run shot, and Logan O'Hoppe has 2 2-run home runs. Game 3, an 8-7 win for the Astros. Dubon has a homer, so does Pena, and Dubon has a 2-run shot as well at the end of the game there. Cleveland and the Athletics. Game 1, 5-1 win for the Athletics. Kurtz Kamenik, 2-run home run. Butler, Wilson, and Urias each have RBIs on the day. 4-2 win for Cleveland in Game 2. They score 4 in the top of the second, and a 3-0 win on Sunday for Game 3. Fry, Urias, and Jones each have RBIs, and Ciccone goes 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 Ks.
The American League stacks up like this. In the West, the Houston Astros still leading the pack. They have a 5-game cushion ahead of the Seattle Mariners, who are currently holding on to one of those wild card spots. The Texas Rangers, 2 games below 500, 2 games out of the wild card race. They're 7 back in the division, 7.5 back are the Angels, and then the Athletics. They are 14 games, 2 touchdowns out of first place in the AL West. In the Central, with 49 wins, a major league leading 49 wins, the Detroit Tigers comfortably leading the Central. Cleveland holding on to a wild card spot. They are 8.5 back in the division. The Royals 10.5 back, the Twins 11 back, and the Chicago White Sox 25-53. It's good for a .321 winning percentage, 23.5 back in the Central. In the East, the New York Yankees, they are very comfortably at the top of the summit there. The Tampa Bay Rays, 2.5 back in the division. They're holding onto a wild card spot, as are the Toronto Blue Jays, who are 4 back in the division. The Red Sox, 6 games back. They're half a game out of the wild card race. And then the Baltimore Orioles, still only 6.5 out of the wild card race, but they are 12 games out of the division at 33-44.
So the White Sox won 2 games.
Yeah,
it's pretty big.
In a foreign country. Just an idea here. Just an idea.
Why does the only non-American team play in the American League?
Well, they can't be in the National League. It's a different nation.
Why do you bake cookies and cook bacon?
Why do they call it an oven? When you oven the cold food, out hot eat the food. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, the only surprising other
in the year of our 2025.
Oh God. Anyway,
the only other surprising series here is the Rays. Kinda, like they take 2 of 3 as a top team in the American League East. Like, kind of top team.
The question I think that we're going to start running into with this Detroit team is how good actually are they? Are they a product of the Central being weaker than everybody expected, or are they actually a bona fide, very good ball club? I don't know when we're going to get the answer to that question, but finding the answer to that question is going to be very, very interesting, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird. I don't think anyone's gonna take it from them. Is the tough thing, is that like I don't look at obviously I don't like the Twins are not in a good spot.
Correct.
Obviously the Pirates are deeply, deeply struggling. The Pirates aren't even in that. You know, I don't know why I said that.
I don't know why you said the Pirates
I don't know why I
either.
said that either. I think I'm mixing up the AFC North and the AL Central. I'm getting confused. Um, no one else in this division is going to catch it. The White Sox aren't. I'm sorry. The White Sox are fun, but they're not. And the Tigers are in
I don't know
a.
that I would say fun.
They're not. Wait, hang on.
I don't think I would say fun.
They're not fun.
Well,
They
they're
have
like
the power of hope.
They have their moments, but they're not fun.
Okay, they have their moments,
Yeah.
but
How
still,
cool is it, by the way? I texted you about this during the week, Lieber, but like, I know we've spent a lot of time on this show talking about it, but I just want to continue to bring up how much fun is it that we have a pope that has opinions about baseball? Like, we have a pope who knows who Mike Talkman is. You know how
Right.
cool that is?
Like, he probably thought that your mean Mercedes was the future of the catcher
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
So did I.
This is a
Yeah.
pope.
Similar thoughts on some things.
He has opinions on Leotis Martinez.
Yep.
What are we doing here?
He knows
Still,
who
though,
Matt
I mean,
Lapis is. Like,
It's great. It's awesome.
he probably blessed Tadahito Iguchi one time. I don't know. Like,
still though, 8.5 games back is the closest team to the Tigers in the AL Central. At the rate that they're playing, like Cleveland, every team in the AL Central has not been better than 5-5 over the last 10. Cleveland and Detroit were both 5-5 over their last 10 games. Minnesota was 1-9, Kansas City 4-6. Chicago White Sox did play 10 games. They were 2-8. This is not a very competitive division, and I think this is starting to regress back into the AL Centrals of the past, where it's just the best of the worst. I think the Tigers have the ability to do what they did last year and make a run through a wild card, but it can't just be Scooble at all. Like you have to have a confident lineup, and I think they can. I hope they will, because none of these other teams really inspire me much.
Also
White Sox.
continuing to look division-wise, also continuing to look incredibly weak is the American League West. I know you have the division-leading Astros taking 2 games from the Angels, which isn't particularly surprising if you've paid attention to baseball for the last decade. This isn't the Astros team of yesteryear. Like, this is not a good team. This is not a factor in the playoffs. The fact that the fact that they are up 5 games in the division right now just says more about the state of that division than it does about the Astros.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, every team in the AL West except for the Angels has had a winning record over their last 10 games. The Astros were 7-3, and then the Texas Rangers, the Seattle Mariners, and the insert name here Athletics are all 6-4 over their last 10. This is still anyone's division. I know that's funny to say when the next team is 5 games back.
Yeah, but it's still early in the year.
But it's early enough in the year where Houston, if they don't add at the deadline with any sort of power bat, because Yordan Alvarez is still hurt, and there's no real timetable. If they don't add something, and one of these other teams do, the margin's going to get thinner.
We know the Mariners are going to add. They do it every deadline. There's nothing Jerry DiPoto loves more than a trade. Like, we know they're going to go out and get somebody. It's just a matter of, is the person they go out and get the best acquisition at the deadline in this division? Because if it is, then it's their division to lose, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Shall we move off the AL?
Sure, let's talk about how Atlanta lost 2 of 3 to Miami. John. And then we'll talk about how Colorado stole a game from Arizona, which they don't do very often. Atlanta and Miami. Miami wins game 1. They win the bread games here.
Bread games.
6-2 win in game 1. Agustin Ramirez has a 3-run home run and 4 RBIs on the day. 7-0 win in game 2 for Atlanta. Drake Baldwin has a 3-run home run. Acuna, Riley, Ozuna, Michael Harris II each have RBIs. 5-3 win for Miami as they take the series in game 3. Stowers has a home run. Ada Lopez 2 RBIs. And Sandy Alcantara 6 innings pitched, 4 Ks. Cincinnati and St. Louis, a 6-1 win for the Cardinals in game 1. They score 5 in the bottom of the 7th, and Palante goes 6 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts. A 6-5 finish in 11 innings with the Cards coming out on top for a second straight game in game 2. Burleson with a 2-run home run. Arenado homers in the bottom of the 9th to tie it, and then Pozo with an RBI single to win for the walk-off. Game 3, a 4-1 win for the Reds. McClain homers, and Abbott goes 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 Ks. The Mets and the Phillies play 3. The Phillies take game 1, 10-2. Castellanos 2-run home run, 3 RBIs on the day. Yet his really good game of the series. One day too early. Stott 3 RBIs, and Wheeler 5 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. Game 2, 11-4. The Mets win. Nimmo homers twice. Lindor, Soto homers twice. Jared Young homers, Alvarez homers, a lot of homers there for the Mets. And the Phillies take game 3. They win the bread games as well. Bread games. And Schwarber has a home run. Sosa has a 3-run home run. And Luzardo goes 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 7 Ks. Arizona and the Rockies. Rockies lose game 1, 14-8. Marte with a 3-run homer. Eugenio Suarez homers twice here, and Vargas has a 2-run homer as well. 5-3 win for the Snakes in game 2. Suarez homers again, and Jerry Perdomo has a 2-run home run. And then a 4-2 win for the Rockies in game 3. Moniak has a 3-run home run, and Sensatella goes 5.1. 4 hits, 5 Ks. Washington and the Dodgers, 6-5 win for the Dodgers in game 1. Rojas with a 2-run shot. Ohtani, Betts, Pages each have RBIs. 7-3 win for the Nationals in game 2. Wood is a home run. Garcia homers. Nathaniel Lowe hits 2 homers, and Abrams homers as well. And then a 13-7 win in game 3 for the Dodgers. Muncy has a grand slam. He also then has a 3-run home run, and Ohtani has a 2-run home run.
Starting west to east in the National League, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who just won bread games. Currently leading the division 48-31. They're 3.5 up on the San Francisco Giants, having a very strong year. They currently hold a wild card spot. The San Diego Padres outside looking in, half a game back in the wild card, 5 back in the division. The Diamondbacks 8 back in the division, and then the Colorado Rockies a whopping 29.5 games back. They could win for an entire month straight and still not lead this division. In the Central, the Chicago Cubs, they enjoy a 3.5 game lead at 46-31. The Brewers at 43-35, hot on their trail, thanks to some good pitching. Word to Jacob Mizorowski. The St. Louis Cardinals 4.5 back. They're 1 out of the wild card spot right now. The Reds 6.5 back, and then the Pirates 16 games out of the Central. Meanwhile, in the East, the Phillies enjoying a 1-game lead over the Mets. Mets currently 3 games up in the wild card race. The Atlanta Braves 11 back in the division, 7 back in the wild card race. And then the Nationals and the Marlins, who are tied at 15 games back and 11 back in the wild card, bottom of that division, really falling out.
Okay. Okay.
We're okay.
All right. This is
Use your words.
Bryce Elder. His final line was 5 and a third innings in that last game, where the Marlins took the bread game.
Good game.
10 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 1 home run. He threw 92 pitches. He gave up 10 hits as one pitcher. The Braves got 7 hits total against Sandy Alcantara, Anthony Bender, Calvin Fauché, and Ronnie Henriquez. The bottom of this Braves lineup. First of all, Alex Verdugo keeps hitting first or second. Or not second or third, really. Why? Why? He has a 607 OPS. In his past 7 games, he has a 182 batting average, a 217 OBP. He's hitting second consistently. This is a team that is all of a sudden it's drifting. It's drifting away from them. And Chris Sale just broke his rib cage, mind you. Chris Sale made a diving play against the Mets. Awesome play. I jumped out of my chair because he dives. He's got these long arms, so he just grabs it and throws it to first base to get Juan Soto out. Objectively, very funny. 15-day IL with a fractured rib cage. And by the way, with the thing with ribs, when you break a rib, is you can't rehab it. You have to heal and then rehab. You can't work when the bone is broken. Didier Fuentes is going to start another game for the Braves. Didier Fuentes, he's 20. He's younger than me. He had his 20th birthday last week. That's not how playoff teams run. This is not how that works. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because the Colorado Rockies actually won a game. But still, something has to change. Something will be done.
John, I believe you just need to accept what Adam and I have accepted.
I'm going bald.
Your team is bad.
Did you just say I'm going bald?
I'm just saying.
That is so uncalled for.
I'm sorry.
You listen to hear, you little shit. When you get drafted, I don't. Okay.
Oh no.
You'll learn to respect your elders sometime, buddy.
Hey, now that we've entered the dogging on Adam part of the show, let me show our viewers something.
Oh boy.
Oh, what is happening here?
I don't know where we're going with this.
I don't know.
That is Adam losing and allowing the most points of the week in fantasy baseball because he doesn't play defense. Listen,
okay, our defensive instructor has been fired, bringing in Ron Washington, recently out of a job. He was looking for a gig. We're bringing in Washington as a defensive wizard. The team's going to turn it around. We're not giving up that many. We're not giving up that many points this week. I promise you that.
All right. Dude, this weekend of games was kind of chalk.
I'll be honest with you. I spent the majority of my weekend watching college baseball and not pro baseball, so I have very few opinions about any of these series.
My other thing is like the only interesting series here. Wow, hey, Philly took 2 of 3 from the Mets. Yay. Philly now has the lead in the National League East. Like, that's it. Yeah, and Castellanos had a really good day on the wrong day. One day early.
Oh, right, yeah. The Phillies and the Mets keep flipping who's in the lead. This is going to be a very exciting race, and I'm interested with that kind of inside perspective to see where this goes, because the Mets keep optioning their young players. Francisco Alvarez, Luis Angel Acuna are both in AAA now. Um, Beatty has spent time down there. Vientos has spent time down there. They keep having to reset guys. They're not going to get much pitching help. Frankie Montas has been shelled in his rehab starts. I mean, absolutely shelled.
But they're calling him up anyway, yeah?
But they're gonna, but like you can't, like
Because
he
they need
has
him.
to be removed off. He has so long in his rehab assignment, and like you just need a warm body at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and the Phillies are dealing with just kind of the thing they keep dealing with. They're old. They're
Yeah.
old. The whole
That was
team's
kind of
old.
that was the crux of our conversation around them in our series preview, or our NL East preview at the beginning of the year, was like, how many years does this core really have left?
Not much longer.
Great.
Like they gotta, like Aiden Miller needs to get up soon. Like Andrew Painter needs to get up soon.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just kind of like, you can't trot out, especially with what Castellanos did defensively a couple days ago. Someone else has got to play right field, and it can't be Schwarber, because Schwarber can't really play the field either. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
and
that.
Brian, yeah,
Yeah. That entire situation around Castellanos is so strange to me, because obviously he's a below average defensive outfielder. And I mean, that's been his entire career. But the guy that you're in theory replacing him with, or at least defensive switching him with, is Josh Rojas, who's a very good defender. And the idea that Castellanos pitched a fit about that is surprising to me. Like, at a certain point, look at the score, man. Like, now, that being said, I don't like the idea of benching him because he threw a fit. I mean, this is a grown man. We're talking about Major League Baseball. You can't treat it like it's Little League. Um, Castellanos, his bat, even if his glove is bad, his bat is very much a part of this team that you need to be firing on all cylinders if you're going to have a run in the postseason.
right,
Purposely making an enemy out of him from a managerial standpoint is
right.
very, very dumb. Very dumb.
And like, this is not like a team that's exactly like, you're disciplining a young guy so he can go and learn from this mistake and really grow. Everyone there is a multi-year veteran practically. Like the young guys aren't even that young.
Yeah.
The clubhouse dynamics are pretty well worn at this point, and benching a guy who seems relatively popular isn't going to be popular, especially not for Rob Thompson, because he's been kind of he started his career, metaphorically and kind of literally on third base. He got brought up into it as the interim. You can't afford to, with the guys that you kind of got grandfathered into, be completely snapping it off. There has to be a level of, like, all right, we're all adults in this room. Let's talk it out like adults. And if this was the adult consequence that Rob Thompson felt like it was the best of, then that's his prerogative to do so. But you're gonna end up catching some flack from it, and he did. And you hope that this doesn't continue to smolder in the clubhouse, but who knows? So the interleague now.
Let's move to the IL.
Apologize. Seattle and the Chicago Cubs playing a series in the friendly confines in 112-degree heat. 9-4 win for Seattle in Game 1. Cal Raleigh has 2 homers that day. Mitch Garver has a 2-run shot and a 3-run shot because he's back. 10-7 win for the Cubs in Game 2. Happ has a home run and a 3-run home run. Tucker has a home run. Bush has a 3-run home run, and PCA adds another home run to his list. 14-6 win in Game 3 for the Mariners. Raleigh has a 2-run home run. That's number 31. Dominic Canzone has 2 home runs. Solano has a home run and a 2-run home run. Texas and Pittsburgh. Texas wins the first two, 6-2 in Game 1. Adolis Garcia has a home run. Seager has a home run, and DeGrom goes 6 innings pitched, 7 Ks. A 3-2 win in Game 2 with Seager and Simeon each having RBIs, and an 8-3 win for the Pirates in Game 3. Tommy Pham goes 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Horowitz 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. A Milwaukee sweep over Minnesota. A 17-6 win in Game 1 for the Brewers. 17 runs on 0 home runs. Only 4 doubles. They had 19 hits. Best part about it, for Minnesota, Joe Ryan goes 5.1 innings pitched and only allows 3 runs. 9-0 win it for Milwaukee in Game 2. Collins has 3 RBIs. Frelick, Churio, Yelich, Terang, Durbin each have RBIs. A 9-8 win for Milwaukee in Game 3, the only game that Minnesota really put up a fight. Buxton has 2 home runs, Hoskins homers, Jeffers homers, and Terang has a 3-run home run. The Royals and the Padres. Royals take Game 1 6-5 as Bobby Witt Jr. homers and Jonathan India has a 3-run homer. 5-1 in Game 2 for the Padres, though. Tatis a 3-run home run, and Dylan Cease goes 6.2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 4 Ks, and a 3-2 win for the Pods in Game 3, taking the series as Perez has a 2-run home run. And in the bottom of the 9th, Iglesias reaches out of fielder's choice, and Luis Arraez scores to take the win there. Boston and San Francisco at Oracle Park. Boston takes Game 1 7-5. Hamilton has a 2-run home run. Rafaela has a home run, and Roman Anthony and Willie Abreu each have RBIs. Game 2, a 3-2 win for the Giants. Elliot Ramos has a home run, and San Francisco Giant Rafael Devers has a 2-run home run, and Roop goes 6 innings pitched, 7 Ks. 9-5 Giants win in Game 3. Casey Schmidt has a home run. Yastrzemski and Adames each do as well.
There are 2 players in Major League Baseball history who have hit a home run against their former team within a week of them being traded by that former team. One of them is Rafael Devers. The other one is a current Boston Red Sox.
Trevor Story.
It happened in 2021. Can you name him?
Probably not Trevor Story, then.
Not Trevor Story. Trevor Story was never traded.
I guess he was just signed. Red Sox.
The team that he was originally on was the Astros, and he was traded from the Astros to the Mariners.
Astros to the Mariners against the Red Sox. Well, I know they
he hit the home run against the Astros.
Okay, why was I thinking Red Sox?
He's currently on the Red Sox.
Astros to Mariners, now currently on the Red Sox.
He's been
Abraham Toro?
Abraham Toro. The only 2 players in baseball history.
Wow.
And
both,
if you remember, Toro hit the home run off of the reliever that he was traded for, which I think is
Graven, right?
Yeah, very funny. Devers not quite that level of pinpoint accuracy, but like we knew this was going to happen, right?
Hey, both of them. Both of them proclaimed Red Sox first baseman. Oh wait. Yeah, but like everyone thought, I mean, Devers was going to hit. The way he hit it opposite field, impressive. That's grown man strength. But also, like, I'm not entirely surprised. The Red Sox pitching staff is a revolving door right now. Even now, just a couple days ago, they sent down, Richard Fitz just came back up because Hunter Dobbins got hurt, which was with right elbow tightness. Ooh.
I know what that means.
Yeah.
It
means his right elbow's tight.
Normally, anytime anything is tight or strained, means that it's ready to snap. Like one man's Achilles.
Gone. Oh right, John. Yeah, noted Indiana. John Lieber here. Um, what has the Achilles tendon such a forefront of your mind?
Dude, they would have won with them.
One of the
Yeah.
biggest Mickey Mouse rings in modern sports history.
We're talking about the Thunder and the Pacers, and I think it's very obvious. I think that even the Thunder knew that they didn't like feel like they earned that win based on how they celebrated.
Well, it's always awkward to like go and do something right after some guy literally writhes in pain. Also,
Yeah.
ESPN, ESPN. I think we've moved off the IL at this point.
So bad.
Stop replaying that. Stop it. Stop doing that. Take it out of the machine. Like, don't. We know it happened. It's
Dude,
obvious. We know it
we were
happened.
watching, and it was just every time. Like, why are you continuing to show?
He showed it like 8 or 9 times on the broadcast, but they also had like underneath the score bug, they had like a live update that would pop up every 3 minutes saying Tyrese Halliburton will not return. Like
Well, I get that. Like
Whoever's
it's the
the
story.
producer is-
Nobody's tuning into this game at halftime and not hearing about it. Everybody knew it happened. You don't have to
Right.
keep rehashing it.
And at this point, just don't show the clip. Whoever was in the production truck for that needs to be sternly talked to, because it's cruel to everyone involved in the Pacers organization, player up, but like it's just it's gross. It's gross for fans to see. Like you don't like there's a reason, like, and it's not like the team, like, they haven't handled it well before. Like when players have had bad injury, typically, like, first rule of thumb when you're operating a camera, if a player gets hurt, if it's really bad, pan away. Like my mind immediately, right? My mind immediately goes to when Dak Prescott's ankle like went like that, in a Cowboys game at AT&T Stadium. The moment it happened, you saw like a split second of Prescott's reaction, and immediately went to the aerial shot. You did not see a close up again. Immediately. Do that. Do that. Learn from that.
Guys. I think we have to see it 6 more times. Does anybody want me to send them the clip?
I'm good.
Anyways,
I'm good.
This is a baseball.
Hold on, I'm gonna link it back in, okay? If you'd stop fucking interrupting me, I'm gonna loop it back around. Just, I'm a professional. I can do segues. The decline in not just broadcast quality, but quality of standards, quality of everything from the so-called worldwide leader in sports, ESPN, over the last 5 to 10 years has been really, really difficult to watch. And yes, it comes from the way that they're presenting, the NBA championship and the pregame show and the halftime show. That's just really poor, all things considered. And yes, it's part of it is getting rid of Around the Horn and things like that. Like, it's really, really stark. But I think something that to me stuck out very much this last week, and I was talking about this with friend of the program, Harrison Vapnik, who's spent the last month and a half covering the LSU Tigers on their quest for their 8th national championship, what they just cemented yesterday in college baseball. As the postseason progresses and you go from regionals to super regionals to the College World Series, the first 2 rounds of the postseason are done by baseball broadcasters, by college baseball broadcasters that know these teams, that know these storylines. And then you get to Omaha, and it's the Sunday Night Baseball crew that takes over. And they don't know anything about these players. They don't know anything about these teams, and they treat it like it's Williamsport. They treat it like, oh, Omaha is such a spectacle. Look at these young kids getting cotton candy. No, man. This is D1 baseball. Like, these are very talented athletes that are going to be pros, arguably in less than a year for some cases. Why are we not treating this like this is a bigger deal? Why are we minimizing the legitimate accomplishments of the athletes that got to Omaha? And again, it goes back to ESPN just being completely tone deaf and not knowing their audience and not knowing their product and not knowing how to market themselves. It's just really sad. Also, I don't know why the light of God is behind me, but you guys are just going to have to deal with that for the rest of the recording, apparently.
My bad. That's me. I sent it over there. Want to go to the grid?
Yeah, let's go to the grid.
We can go to grid.
All right. The Immaculate Grid, John. What is it?
The Immaculate Grid is a 3x3 grid with 3 rows and 3 columns. The rows and columns are stats, teams played for, played at position, all sorts of things that you can fill in. You probably won't be able to do this one unless, this episode's going to come out today, but like you're going to get spoiled if you continue to watch. But 9 boxes, you get the lowest rarity score possible by naming people that you have never heard of before.
True.
The grid today, the column number 1 is the Washington Nationals. Column number 2 is played outfield a minimum of 1 game. And column number 3 is 200-plus hits in a season. Row 1, the Minnesota Twins. Row 2, the Giants. And row 3, the Yankees. I have an outfielder for the Giants that I've already put in. It's Melky Cabrera.
Oh, I would have gone with Brandon Belt, personally.
Okay, well.
What about Brandon Sock?
No, that's not a guy.
Brandon Hair Tie.
Nope, still not.
Okay. Brandon Cufflink.
Okay.
We're getting
how do you get somebody off of a podcast?
You were the one who invited him.
I could change all the passwords. You made him like.
Yeah, he's
a
in
lot
the
of
walls.
that.
We can't get him out now.
I'm permanently logged in for some of them.
Deeply invested in.
Nationals
Yankees
outfield minimum 1 game. Estevan Florial.
True.
Huh? Flor. Ah, got it. Florial. There we go.
Twins outfield.
He is looking two different directions in this photo. Wow.
Ouch. Ouch.
Wow. Okay.
My bad, Esteban.
Esteban Florial, if you're listening, he doesn't mean that.
Twins outfielder. Luis Ariz?
Are you sure?
Yeah, he played left field, I'm pretty sure.
You're right. All right, so we have the outfielders filled out, guys. Great job.
Nationals, Giants.
I have a Nationals Yankee out for you guys.
Go ahead.
Xavier Nady.
Got it.
Nationals, Giants. Ehire Adrianza.
Got it.
Always like using Ehire Adrianza.
Yeah, I know, and I have suddenly figured out how to spell his name, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, he played a lot of places. What do we have left?
Nationals Twins, Ildemaro Vargas.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime we can use Ildemaro Vargas, we have to take the opportunity.
We have the entirety of the 200 hits column.
Twins.
Nobody move quickly here.
Twins 200 hits. Twins. If I was a Twins and I had 200 hits, who would I be? Does Matt Wallner had it yet?
Huh?
That's more of a question. Don't put that in yet. I want to look. I wonder if Matt Wallner has 200
Matt Wallner
hits.
has never had more than 100 hits in a season.
All right. Well, shout out Matt Wallner anyway.
What?
Okay. Well, that's great. This is just going to be someone really...
That's the issue. This one is kind of like they're a Hall of Famer.
Rod Carew, then, I guess, for the Twins. Because it's going to be like Rod Carew or Kirby Puckett. And like, I feel like people are going to think of Kirby Puckett because he played the most recently.
All right, fine. We'll put in Rod Carew. 34%.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's just no way we're going to get a good one on that. That didn't play for the Washington Nationals in like 1920.
The Washington Nationals did not exist in 1920.
That's
I have a
Washington Senators, pardon.
I have a San Francisco Giant that I would like to nominate.
Sure.
Mr. Bonds. Mr. Bobby Bonds.
Bobby Bonds, 7%. Now we need a Yankee plus hits.
It could be literally anyone.
I feel like we could get a lower number on because there has to have been a million people that did it, right?
Probably Derek Jeter.
I'm sure Jeter did. I'm sure DiMaggio did. I'm sure like Garrick did.
What about like Mattingly? Do you think Don Mattingly did it? Because I know he hit pretty hot when he was a player.
Yeah. My mind went to either him or Bernie Williams. So
Bernie Williams might have.
We'll put in Don. 9%. So if we take out John's 34% for the Twins.
What was I supposed to do there?
Let's see who else we could name there. That's a good point. So there's 14 people, which is the same as the number of Yankees, just so you know. And you could have said Paul Molitor, Cesar Tovar.
I don't know who that is.
Tony Oliva.
Junior college World Series legend Kirby Puckett.
That's the thing. It's like I feel like people would have thought of Kirby Puckett.
You don't know Goose Gonsolin from 1925? Dude,
I wasn't.
200 hits in 1925. That's
I wasn't around. That was literally exactly 100 years ago.
You weren't around?
No, believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
I think we need to talk more about how in 1971 Cesar Tovar had 204 hits, 171 of them being singles.
That's really bad.
And he played almost every position.
That's really bad.
Let's see.
He was Ichiro before Ichiro was Ichiro.
Hardest spot on the grid today was Nationals Giants at 54%. Anybody got anything? Anybody?
No.
I still can't believe his name is Dicky Lovelady.
I mean, it's just like he has to know, right? He has to know. There was literally a press release from the New York Metropolitans saying left-handed pitcher Dicky Lovelady was signed to a major league contract. Like,
there was a tweet from Jeff Passan as we were recording this podcast that said basically exactly what you said at the top of the show, H, which is that I cannot wait for this Mets broadcast crew of Howie Rose and Gary Cohen try to say Dicky Lovelady with a straight face. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah. I mean,
I think his parents.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Anyway, where can you find
Adam,
us?
would you like to close out the show before you get overtaken by the sun?
Please. You can find us on Twitter, also currently known erroneously as X, the Everything app. We are on that Everything app at the Chatting AVG. The Chatting Average is also wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts, whether that be Spotify, whether that be on YouTube, because we are on YouTube. Go watch our videos on YouTube. You can see the power of the sun behind me, and it's getting closer, so we need to wrap this up. John, take us out of here.
Which one?
Oh no, he's getting eaten by the sun!
Oh my god.
We have to decide! Rock. Thank you for listening to the Chatting Average. I wasn't actually paying attention to what Adam was saying there, so I assume he said all the Twitter and the listen to us on the apps and comment.
Comment?
Goodbye, everyone.